Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to another JMMB Goal Getter Live. Yes, you're seeing another strange face. I am Felicia Williams. I am the corporate marketing manager at JMMB. I am your host tonight. So, listen now, we're going to continue in the month of October talking about women issues and topics, right? So, during the month, we'll focus on financial and lifestyle issues as usual. And if you have been a regular here, listen, I say welcome, welcome everyone. But if not, we are here every week. And we started at the beginning of the pandemic and we will keep being here for you. So this is our new normal and we're going to try and give you the information that you need. And if you've missed any of our webinars before, we invite you to watch them on YouTube and the Facebook. Just binge watch on some Goal Getter Live, right? Now, listen, guys, inspiration can come from any direction. How do you take a dream and make it a reality against all odds? Today, I will be chatting with two amazing, amazing ladies about determination to success, despite the challenges that they face. So, after hearing their stories, we really, really hope that you get inspired to create your own success story. Help me to welcome Claudine Campbell-Bryan. She is a JMMB team member, right? She's a country compliance officer. She's also the co-owner of Center Yourself Natural. It's a 100% Jamaican product, all natural products, right, Claudine?
Yes, that's correct.
Also, I want to introduce Antoinette Atkins, aka Tony. She's no stranger to us Jamaicans. We see her on our television screens doing sign language in Parliament, and when there's Jamaica media conferences, you will see her. And even for those of us who don't understand sign language, she is great entertainment for us because we just enjoy her energy. She's a sign language interpreter for both Jamaica and American. And guess what? We want to big her up tonight, especially because she got recognized and awarded honor of distinction. So now she is Antoinette Atkins OB. Wow. Welcome, guys. How you do? It's really, really nice to have you. Congratulations, Tony.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're going to jump right in, ladies. We're not going to have a lot to cover and really want to get into it. So the first thing, Claudine, I'm going to start with you, right? And I know, first I want to pick up everybody. I see everybody jumping in. Good night. I see Anointed Favor. I see Hideous Crown. I'm seeing a whole bunch of people. Welcome. Thank you for logging on. So, Claudine, let's talk a little bit. Talk to me about determination to success. Tell me a little bit about your story.
So, Phil, coming from a very, very humble beginning, I live in Winterspan, Spanish Town with my mother, and life was really, really hard. And so from a very tender age, I said to myself, this is not the path that I want to take. My mother was a domestic helper, and so she tried her
I'm getting a little
best at and so yeah. Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you now, Claudine, but you might be breaking up a little bit.
Okay. So I was saying from a very tender age, mother how she struggled with her. I said, this is not the life I want for myself. I want to, but not that way. And so from an early age, I said, I have to do something to elevate myself. I was already at the bottom and I was not determined to stay there. And so that is my drive and my determination to succeed.
Okay. Thank you, Claudine. I know I'm getting a little breakup from you on your side. I'm going to jump over to Tony. Tony, same question for you. Talk to me. Tell me a little bit about your story, just so the audience can know you outside of, what we see on the television.
Okay. I don't really like to simcom because it's two different languages, but I don't know if any deaf person is participating or watching because I advertised it. So I'll just sign so that they understand what I'm saying,
Thank you so
so
much.
that they can feel included.
Yes.
So I grew up. Oh, and disclaimer, my English might go off because I'm going to focus more on the signing. So ignore if you hear a little error in the English. So
That's
um I grew up with deaf parents. I have three, stepmother, mother, and a father. Uh I also have grandparents and they're hearing. Most times I don't mention them, but they're important too.
Mhm.
Um I grew up in Kingston here. My parents tried for me to go to the best schools. So my father placed me in Saint Peter and Paul Prep
Okay.
School. And then I passed for Woolmer's Girls. I should have attended, but my grandmother was she didn't like the location. So they transferred me to Immaculate. Um, and that's where I went to school. After that, I went to college in US for a short time. I was actually studying to become a pilot, didn't work out, and here I am today. So that's a little bit about my background.
Beautiful. Where are you today? Tell me. I mean, we see you signing in Parliament and so on, but tell us a little bit about your work.
Okay, so I started at about 19. So I came back 18 plus almost 19, and my parents plus other people were encouraging me to sign since I had the skill and I was able to communicate. But people have to understand that there's a difference between just signing and interpreting. So I applied to work at the JAD, an NGO, and I was there for a short stint. A lot of people there didn't necessarily believe in me and my ability to interpret. So after that, I later left and decided to work independently. And trust me, it was a
Yeah.
struggle. But here I am today. Um, People, friends, and even strangers will come up to me and say I'm the face. They didn't know anything about sign language before they
Right.
saw me. So I think, hard work pays off,
Yes.
and that's just the fruit of my labor, I think.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much for sharing that. Claudine, I want to just kind of jump to you real quick and ask you, where are you today? Like, what is, success? And in my mind, success is a journey, not a destination. And they're different. When you get to different parts of the journey, you celebrate different things. So tell us where you are today. What are you defining as success for yourself?
So, Phil, because of the troublesome background, I would put it, that I experienced, every time, for example, when I passed my common entrance, I defied all odds when that happened for a town school, because I remember looking in the Gleaner for my name in all the Spanish town schools and couldn't find it. And so I thought, wow, here we go again. And I did not pass. And somebody said, your name is in St. Hugh's. And that for me
Mhm.
was a big win. And so
Wow.
from St. Hugh's, with all the day of going to school without lunch money, I went to school more days without money than getting money. It became a norm. And so from to university, I mean, it was just one thing after another, and I kept myself at it. I said, listen, I know what I have in mind. I know that I want to become someone who can give back to society in a positive way. And that is
Yes.
what I started doing. So I focused on that mainly. I said, listen, my past does not define me. Where I lived, it did not define me. And so I pressed for where I want to go. I did not run
Yes.
anybody else's race. I ran my own race.
Yes. I love that. Love that, Claudine. Claudine said she did not run anyone else's race. She ran her own race. And I think if we were to look at the successful people that we know, they will tell you the same thing, that they ran their own race. So, Tony, tell us a little bit about your own personal philosophy around success.
Well, there are three things that I live by. Well, I live by a lot of things,
Yes.
but there's one. I say live, love, laugh, and I live like that because we have to remember that when people behave negatively, it's not necessarily you. Oh, sorry, I'm not signing. So, first, my first philosophy is live, love, laugh.
Yes.
And we have to remember that when people are negative, sometimes it's not necessarily you, but their own situation or their
Wow.
own struggles that, you know, are reflecting on you. I saw somebody post that today. Actually, Lindsay posted that, and I saw it and I said, that's so true. A second thing I live by is we have to have manners. It's something that is lacking in our society, I recognize when I was growing up, my grandmother and my grandfather, they always said that manners will carry you through the world, and I I never understood that. But sometimes as an adult, even as an adult, when you feel insulted or disrespected, again, you have to remember it's not necessarily you, but the person. So always remember that you respecting, no matter what, sometimes is important, and that will help you to succeed. That's another thing I live by. And the
Yeah.
third thing is always being on time. Jamaica has a time issue. As
Yeah.
an interpreter, I remember years ago, I used to be late. Alfie Aiken, who works at Junior Achievement, I used to work for them for a short stint. I did a project with them. And she told me, hey, you have to be reliable. And I was about
Wow.
19 at that time. So I was young and fleety. And it stuck with me. And that's something I live by. Time, reliability. If you follow those three things, I believe that success. And as Claudine recently said, your path. You can't
Yes.
want what everybody have.
Yes.
It won't work. If you want to become Massacre, or you want to become Patrick Hilton, or you want to become the Duncans, the JMMB owners, it's just not going to work. You have to follow your own path and believe and watch the signs.
Yes.
Know what's for you because it's there. It's obvious.
Wow.
It's just for you to watch it and look for it and
Like,
accept it.
guys, that's awesome. Tony, that's awesome. Guys, I hope you're getting those gems. Tony gave us live, laugh, learn, right? Have
Live, laugh,
manners,
love.
live, laugh, love. Thank you. Have manners, right? What was the third one?
And the third one is always be on time.
Be,
Reliability.
be reliable and stay in your own lane. That came up 2 times. Stay in your own lane. You can't look at what everybody else is doing. Thank you guys so much for dumping on. I see Janice Brown Roberts. I see Caroline. I see Zion Lee. Everybody, Punky. Thank you guys so much for dumping on. I'm acknowledging, yes, Claudine, have a little bad connection. I realize that somebody's saying that in the chat. And I know she is trying to address that right now. Claudine, um, can you take another question? I'm coming right to you to just kind of ask you what oh, she's asking for 1 minute. All right. On. Okay, we're gonna come back to you, Tony Ann, because Claudine is having a little internet issue, but we're gonna keep talking. So,
Okay.
internet, how do you push through? Tell us, how do you push through the difficult times? All the people telling you you can or you cannot. How do you push through your difficult times?
Well, there are several ways.
Yes.
Music. I wouldn't say music first, but I love music, so I have to remember to mention it because most times I leave it off. I think the first thing is deaf people,
Okay.
just overall. The deaf community supports me 100%. Um, there in the past, they used to be very critical about my interpreting because it wasn't, as I said, signing and interpreting is different. So it's something that I had to learn. It's not something that just happened overnight. It's something that I had to learn. So deaf people, the deaf community, and the disabled community, and people who believe in me. Also God. A lot of people maybe think I don't believe in God, but I'm a spiritual person. I grew up with parents who are Jehovah's Witnesses. So there are things that I believe that still stick. And I believe that without God, my purpose wouldn't be fulfilled because there's a reason why I'm here. And it had to happen that way. It had to happen for me to have deaf parents, for me to realize that there's a difference in society. It had to happen for me to see people discriminate and insult my parents and insult my deaf friends and my parents' friends and insult them and make them feel small. It had to happen for me to be here. So everything happens for a reason. And that's I think for everybody too. Sometimes we struggle and we say, why? But when we reach on the other side, it's so beautiful. Sometimes you just have to just stop and breathe and say thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful. What I'm hearing that you have to go through the struggles to come out better on the other side. I really appreciate that sharing. Claudine, you're back.
Yes.
Awesome. I'm glad to see you, and the internet is performing better. So quick question for you. When did you know, Claudine, when it sometimes that thing kind of turns on? You get that aha moment, that paradigm shift, that I can be better, do better, change my situation. When is there a point in time in your life that happened to you and you go, okay, tell me about that time.
So Fel, I mentioned to you about passing my common entrance.
Yes.
So if you lived in a background like I did, where all you're seeing is, for the most part, is people going through secondary school and that's where it ended. And so I remember the day when the common entrance results came out. And I passed, and my mother was at somebody's house washing, and she came with soap sud on her, dried onto her hands because she was so happy. And I said to myself, even at such a young age, I said, this is it for me. This is now my chance to step out of the norm that I know and to move to something greater. And even the very fact that I passed for a town school, as they would call it, because we were known to pass for the St. Catherine, the St. Jago, and the schools in the local. And so when I passed for St. Jude's, it was just giving me a new perspective that, listen, this is not where you have to end. This is not where you have to stop. There is a big, wider world out there that you can experience. And so listen to me. Even when I stepped onto St. Jude's campus, I didn't know how to speak well. I didn't know how to put H's onto words. And when I opened my mouth for the very first few classes, people would laugh at me because nobody around me spoke well. So I didn't know how to speak. But then after going and listening and paying attention, I am avid when it comes to learning. I don't take anything for granted. If I know it and you are teaching me, I'm going to sit as if I don't know. And I sucked in every single thing. And I said to myself, listen, I'm on this platform and I'm going to shine like I know how to shine.
Yes.
And that's it.
Michelle Hall says, congratulations, Antoinette. I'm seeing Elaine saying, inspiring ladies. I love it. Awesome. Listen, Claudine, I want to say to you real quick, we're probably at an age, and many persons on this live will remember common entrance very well. And that was like a big milestone for so many of us, for some of us who, whether we passed or we didn't pass, or whether we passed for good school or bad school, whatever it is, it was such a big milestone. But you are absolutely right. I think one of the things I appreciate in what you just said and shared with us is that it really doesn't matter where you start. It's where you end up. I hope you guys getting that. I know you hear it all the time, but it's okay to hear it again. It's okay to hear it again. So, Antoinette, talk to me about the biggest lessons you've learned. I mean, you've gone to school overseas, and I know that, just going to school overseas in and by itself is a lesson. Right? Talk to me about the biggest lesson you have learned. And what would you say to someone who is ready to give up?
Okay, so Marcus Garvey has a quote that says we should take advantage of an opportunity where there is none. Should make it for yourself. I think when I went to America, yeah, I was comfortable because I got to be myself in that environment. But when I came back, I decided, as I said, I would go and interpret and all of that. And I think the biggest struggle that I really faced was, I think, boy, I kind of got like a brain freeze.
That's okay.
About that. Could you repeat the question again? Because
I was asking you, what is your biggest, let me rephrase for you a little bit to make it a little bit easier. For that person who believes that they can't do anymore and they're ready to give up, what would you say to them based on your own life and your own experience?
as I recently, the Marcus Garvey quote, that's a good one. That's one to live by. And additionally, don't give up. I know many people are struggling now. I know. I see it. Sometimes I get emotional because
Yes.
especially the deaf community, many of them struggle. Many of them struggle to find jobs, especially now with COVID, it's even worse. And so many of them want to give up. And I'm sure it's the same for hearing people, but you know, when having a disability, it's even 10 times worse.
Yes.
So many of them want to give up, and I just say, your time is coming. There's a song that Alkaline Same say, wait your turn. It's true. Sometimes you just need to wait, and sometimes you need to be patient, and sometimes you need to say, God, am I on the right path? Am I doing the right thing? And if it's the wrong thing, you will know. And if it's the right thing, you will know. So sometimes it's just patience. I've been doing this for 14 years. People think I'm old because some people come up to me and say they know me from their kids. And I'm like, that's impossible because you're older than me. But it's the fact that they've been seeing me for so long.
So long.
It took long for Jamaican people. It's still a struggle for Jamaican people to recognize the importance of deafness and the importance of communication. So it's something you just have to wait. You have to be patient. And I'm sure if we think about people like Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos, I like to think about them because they started in a garage, in them yard. Bill Gates walked around and asked people for $20 to invest in Microsoft. Look at Bill Gates now. You just have to wait your turn. It's just patience.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that, Tony. I heard the emotion in your voice when you started to talk about just the deaf community. And the truth is, people in general, we give up so easily and so quickly. And sometimes it's not easy and sometimes it's not quick. Sometimes the journey is long and it's painful. But the message that's coming through for me is that keep pressing on. Keep doing the things you love. Find that thing. You spoke about purpose earlier, Tony, and that blew my mind because that's so important that we understand our purpose and push through. Because you're created for that. All right, beautiful. Thank you so much. So, Claudine.
Yes, ma'am.
Same question for you, and a little bit different. The little different is sometimes success appears impossible. Right? And then sometimes the barrier to the success seem impossible too, right? How important is it to focus on those small wins every single time to for that big success, whatever that big success is?
So, Fel, it is absolutely important because it will give you the push that you need to go the next step.
Yeah.
Rome was not built in one day, right? And if you truly believe in yourself and the ability that God has placed inside of you, then you will say to yourself, for everything that you do, you would consider it a success. So, for example, I remember when I just started UE, girl, I had no money at all, and I applied for student loan. I got it, and that was a success for me. But hear what now? When I went on campus and I saw the different tests that I had to go under to get pre-clearance and pre-approval and this and that, I said to myself, next year, this not happened to me at all. I will not go through this. So I'm grateful for it to start, but I'm saying next year, I'm going to move from this point. And so from that very first semester, I went into a partner because that's what I grew. I saw my mother join in partner to pay my school fee every year. And I said, this is what I'm going to do. And so I joined a partner, got my drawers, and I left them there for my next year tuition. And from that very year, I did not take any more student loan. So I celebrated that way. When I went through the first semester, coming from a background where fell, all I used to have for lunch was ear pie. My mother could not afford it. And so when I go home at night and she cooks some dumpling, I don't eat butter. So I would have my dumpling and my lemonade for my dinner. And then tomorrow morning, she would fry the dumpling and give me with some sugar tea. And that was my thing. And let me tell you, when I went on campus and I saw that for the first semester after coming through high school and struggling because the brain could not learn past a certain capacity because I wasn't eating properly. When I started feeding myself, because I was working by then, and I saw that I was now on par with other persons that I knew in high school that were getting good grades, I realized that nutrition was a function of my not learning.
Wow.
And so that for me too was a win.
Wow.
And so I said to myself, listen, I'm going to go through you once. Me not fail not one course.
That's right.
And I made up my mind and I studied hard. And for every exam that I passed, I celebrated it as a win.
Yes.
So I'm saying to anybody, don't grapple too much on your current situation. There is going to come a time when you can look back at it and smile and say, I went through that. I'm not a product only of the bad things, but I'm also a product of something good. Because it builds muscles. It builds muscles.
I love
so that's what I want to share.
Oh my goodness, that is amazing. Why it's amazing? A couple of things came out of it. One, set some goals, guys. Make your goals impossible. Claudine decided that she was not going to go under those tents next year. And because she set those goals for herself, she put things into action to get to those goals. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Claudine. And I hope it's inspiring someone. I'm seeing the message here, and it's amazing. Everybody's enjoying it. So, all right, Tony, talk to me.
Yes.
Thanks, as the Oprah Cole is saying, amazing ladies. Yes, yes, yes. Love it, love it. So, Tony, tell me some practical tips. We want to know, what are the practical things? I mean, you're doing these amazing things. You're pushing through whatever barriers that are out there for you. And we just want to know, just listen, when we listen to the inspirational and motivational speakers, they tell you to do this and this ritual and all kinds of things. In real life, tell me what you do every day.
Well, every day, ritually, I get up, since COVID, well, before COVID, I used to go to the gym in the mornings, but since COVID, it's a little bit shaky. But I get up, we do the hygienic things,
Yes.
things. And sometimes I listen to music, or sometimes I read, or sometimes I just have a conversation with my fiance. We will talk about general things. And then sometimes, for me, and that's just me individually, when anyone is speaking with me, I'm thinking in JSL. So my brain sometimes, when someone speaks, it might flip around what they're saying in English because
No
I'm
problem.
thinking in Jamaican Sign Language. So that's a ritual for me too, as well as music, because I love music. Music has a lot of poetry, and it has a lot of idioms and different ways of expressing things that's not necessarily literal. So that helps me with interpreting as well. Because what I do is I would listen to, for example, a protege or a Sasko or somebody who I know is deep, and then I'll try and think, how would I then express that to a deaf person for them to fully
Wow.
get the concept? So that's something that I do on a daily basis. And then other things like I do stuff for my auntie, you know, do different little things, do things for family. I converse with my parents. Well, they would tell you that they hardly hear from me, which is the facts, because I'm always busy. But when I do get the opportunity, I'll text them or video call them. And pretty much that's my day. And always giving thanks. I mean, no matter how small.
Yes.
Sometimes we forget that. Even if it's just a meal, we should always give thanks.
Yes. I see someone here asking, do you do affirmation? I see Spartan saying, do you do affirmation?
Um, yeah, I would like to think my affirmations come from people around me who I surround myself with. So, like my auntie who lives in Philly, we talk a lot. As I said, my fiance and deaf people. And affirmations from like inspirational quotes. Sometimes I think about things that I read and how it impacts me. Like I love Charlemagne the God, his book
Yes.
Black Privilege. It's an excellent book. It's something that all Black people should read. And it's every time I'm down or depressed, I think about him and his
Yeah.
experience and how it
Yeah.
relates to my life.
Yes, he has had an amazing journey. I see Simone, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Simone Samson. She can relate to throwing partner to pay her school fees and being hungry on campus. Not Claudine, I can relate to that too. No lie. I can relate to that too. Why? Because I went to school far away on a scholarship. I went to school in the States, and half the time I never had any, what I mean, lunch money either. And so it was rough. So I can completely relate. All right, Claudine, over
Yes,
to you
ma'am.
again. Who or what motivates you and what really keeps you going?
Well, there's just so many things, just life in general. And know that, first it was my mother who I said to myself, I want to make this woman proud after all she has
Yes,
been through. Me want to make her proud. You
Yeah.
understand me? So there are some goals that I set for myself from early out.
Yeah.
And I said, this is for my mother. And then now that I've become a mother myself, I have two wonderful boys. I have my own family. They motivate me. I have some good friends, And let me tell
yes,
you, we just look outside and I see somebody who is less fortunate than me, and that motivates me.
yes.
Take not much to motivate me.
Okay.
I've been watching the news like the other day, and I saw the young man who is trying to get his book out. That motivates me because I'm saying, look at this young man. He cannot get up out of his bed. You
Yeah.
understand me? And God give me 2 feet, 2 hands, me have a brain, me have function. I am motivated, but it don't let much motivate me. And
Yes.
so, let me tell you something. Because of that, every day I wake up with a new leaf on life.
Yes.
It might not happen as I wake up, but further down in the day, that leaf is going to turn.
Yes.
You understand me? And so when I wake up, I said, Lord, I really thank you for another opportunity to be above ground. I am going to be the example that my sons are looking at. I don't want you to just tell them to do things. I want them to see me working hard. I want them to see me achieving things. So even like my big son, Ethan, look, he will say, Mommy, one time he was saying, Mommy, I want to come to work, go to meetings with you. But now he said, Mommy, I want to make soap. So I have two young men who are looking up to me, and that motivates me.
Yes.
My friends, you know, my friends motivate me, because when I know that they're looking at me from where I'm coming from and where I am now, I know that they're expecting great things, and that motivates me as well.
Beautiful. It's so important to have an anchor. It's so important to have that thing that reminds you why you're doing what you're doing. And what I'm hearing that children, people who you have really strong relationships with, as well as God, that those things are your anchor and keep you there, and that is beautiful. I want to ask both of you a question, and we've been asking personal questions, but the people in your life, and I'm gonna ask you first, Claudine, like what would your mom say now when she look at you, look at where you are?
Oh Lord. Well, so Sunday morning, it's very near. I saw her sitting down because she lives with me, and she was crying. And I said, "What is it?" She said, "No, I am so proud of you. You set some goals and you went for it. I mean, there are so many other opportunities that came my way that they don't look like what it is now. There are some quick ways to get what you want, but let me tell you something. It is sweeter when you can say, I worked hard for this. You know, it is sweeter when you can say, God help me to achieve this. You know, and then you hold it dearer to you. You nurture it some more because you knew the struggles that you went through to get it. And so my mother is extremely proud. Sometimes she overdo it. I mean, I really like them someday. And so sometimes when I meet people and they say, oh, so you and Claudine will do this and do that. And I have to look at her and I said, Mama, not do it, man, do. But I know she's extremely proud of me, and I give God thanks that she's alive today to experience some of her hard work that she put in me.
Yeah. Yes.
And you know, one of the things to fail, is that my mother was not the kind of person. She just make her one statement and you know say hold that. Like she would say, they say if you not go to school and taking a lesson, me I go cut off your head and carry go to the police station. Things like that. She would just make some general statement. She not have to talk no more. It just connect, boom bam, connect, and I know what I have to do.
Yes.
And so we had that kind of relationship where I knew she was expecting greatness out of me and I moved to it.
Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. How about you, Tony?
Well, I have 3 parents. So for my mom, I know she's happy and she's very proud. I'll give you a joke. Sometimes when we're out in public and people come up to me and say something, she say, did you let them know I'm your mother? I don't need to tell strange people that you're my mother. and I know that's a sign of pride.
Yeah.
My father, and my stepmother, they're Jehovah's Witnesses, but I know they're proud because I grew up in my high school years with my father. So my father, he was strict. Always want me to study, academics. And I was not that type of student. I'm not the studying. I'm not the school. My personality doesn't fit a school environment, you know? And so my father was always worried, but I know now, I mean, we have casual conversations, and when we talk, I know that he's proud. He's not the type to say it, but I can see it and I can feel it when I'm around him, and I know it. So I just accept that he's proud, and I know that my family, my entire family, and everyone who knows where I'm coming from and who knows me from a kid, they're all proud.
Yeah.
Including teachers at schools. Trust me.
Tony, you said something that I want to dig a little bit deeper into, because I know many persons struggle with that, being not being the kind of student that's kind of a book student, not your traditional learning, sitting down, doing math and English and the sciences. What would you say to someone who is struggling right now in that area and they feel like they're not doing well in school, it's not connecting, and they really cannot see how they can't see a world where they're successful?
Well, Google is there now, so I can give motivation, but I can also tell you to research. Most people who are successful, not saying school is a waste of time, don't get me wrong, because if it's for you, it's for you. Some people can conform and go to school and become DRs and have master's degrees, and they're excellent at it, and I applaud them because I'm not suitable for that. But for the students who are not suitable for that, there's something there for you. As Claudine said, everybody has a path. You don't just come for no reason. What would be the point of life if people came for no reason? Everybody, from the kid who just come out of a mommy this morning to this evening, to the oldest person who is maybe still alive, who maybe feel like they never fulfill their purpose. We all have a purpose, and we all can fulfill it. It's just to find your way, your path, and stop being grudging other people and watching what other people have, and just believe that what's for you is for you, and nobody can take it.
Yes.
That's just it.
Love that. Thank you so much. Claudine, I'm going to jump over to you and just to ask you, as you think about people who measure success based on your education, because that's one of the things that kind of slow us down. We believe that if we're educated at this school or we have this degree, but if we're a dressmaker or a fashion designer, which these days you're not successful or you don't measure up. What do you say to people who are struggling through that? Just whether you're on the side that believe that you are better because you have this degree and this education versus the person who is not as educated, they themselves, they're struggling to just kind of find their place.
So, Phil, one of the first things I would say to you is find your purpose.
Okay.
Find your purpose. As I said earlier, do not run anybody else's race. At one point in time, I was running other people's race. Why I said that, Phil, and as Tony said, I'm not knocking school. But if I knew what I know now, I would not have done a certain degree. I would have invested it in my talent.
Yes.
And so what you found is that because I did thing for do, and the thing for go get degree, and the thing for this, and the thing for that. I'm just running with people, at one point in time, because I think in my mind, this is it. This is how to get to where I want to go. If I just stopped in my 20s and said, listen, man, I'm good at makeup, makeup, I'm going to commit myself to. Or I'm good at fashion design, and that's what I'm going to do. I believe, honestly, and I give God thanks for where I am now, but I'm saying maybe if I had started out with those talents that God has given me, I would have reached much further. So I'm saying to somebody, don't watch people. Now watch what other people are doing. If this is what you love, give it your best shot. And if you fail at it, it doesn't mean that you are a failure. You fail at something. Mm-hmm. Failing at something does not mean that you're a failure. Listen, man, get up and start something else. And I realized too, Phil, that when you start tapping in onto those little things that you have inside, it leads you up to the bigger things. So, for example, you're not sure if it's sweep you want to sweep yard, but you start sweeping yard and then you realize, no, I'm not sweep, I want to sweep yard and I want to cut yard. And you start cut yard and you say, no, I'm not cut really want to cut yard and I want to be an horticulturalist and stuff. And so because you started out not watching that people are going to say cut yard or sweep yard, it moves you from one stage to the next stage until you realize your greatness. Wow. What it is that God created you to be. And that is what I'm going to encourage people. Don't watch the other man. Don't watch the university and watch this and watch that. Just center yourself and say to yourself what it is that I love to do, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. And watch it turn for you.
Listen, we just got a master class of purpose. If you never know how to achieve purpose or what your purpose is, Claudine just laid it down for you. Start. Don't watch what people are saying, but start, because from there it will grow into something else. And that's amazing. Thank you so much. I mean, the analogy that you gave, Claudine, done. We're done. We're good. We understand fully. You know, beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that, guys. So I want to ask both of you, who inspires you? Who inspires you? Just because there are lots of people who are doing lots of things and saying a lot of things. Is there someone that inspires you? We're gonna start with you first, Tony.
Oh wow. I'm inspired daily by, honestly, I'm going to say there are three people who really inspire me. Sorry, I forget to sign again. Three people who really inspire me. One is a deaf lady. Her name is Tashai Widmer. She's the CEO of the Caribbean Christian Center for the Deaf. We're the same age. And recently we were discussing school. School is for Tashai. Tashai did extremely well in school, and now she's the managing director for CCCD. And what inspires me about her is that even though she's a Christian, and when I say a Christian, she's non-judgmental. It doesn't matter who you are. And I think that's a deaf thing too. It doesn't matter who you are. It's okay to have a conversation. It's okay to just be yourself. And that's one thing that inspires me about her. And the fact that she's the co-founder of Deaf Can Coffee, along with her husband, Blake Widmer. That was good for the deaf community here. They got jobs, etc., etc. But due to COVID, it has reduced, but it's still functioning. I would definitely say my parents. Inspiration there. I don't need to belabor that point, because I wouldn't be who I am without them. They made me, and I have to be grateful for that. And then I'd say the last person who inspires me is maybe my son. He's 10, and he inspires me because it's just awesome to watch him evolve into a good human, you know? And I know that he will do great things when he becomes an adult. And so he keeps me inspired and also keeps me motivated to keep doing what I'm doing, because he believes in me so much that I just have to keep going. So I have parents, I have deaf people, and I have my son, and then I have my family, and I have my fiance, and I have all these people who just kind of look up and say, boy, Tony, you know, you're doing well. And so it keeps me motivated, and that keeps me inspired. Just family and friends in general.
Thank you. Thank you. Claudine, how about you?
Listen, it is very similar to what Tony says, but you know, when you have a family who is your biggest cheerleaders, I tell you, Phil, if tomorrow morning, Mr. Mega sells some bug juice.
Yes.
It's like everybody say, yeah, bug juice never sell. No. You know, and that motivates and inspires me. You understand me? When I have a son who said, the other day I was getting a little fearful about something, and he says, Mommy, be not dismayed because the Lord your God is with you. That inspires me.
Wow.
I have some friends. I have some friends that when I'm going through some low times, I can call upon them, you know, and they just help to just buffer me up and say, listen, girl, you can do this. And so I have a community. And outside of that, sometimes I have to dig deep inside and find the inspiration from within. I have to dig deep inside and find the inspiration, because sometimes where I am in life, it cannot come from outside of me. And so my only source would have to be God.
Yes.
And so I look to him to just plant something new inside of me, to just help me to just go another day. And so that is my mantra. Listen, man, I'm in a business school, you be man. I don't business how you talk. I don't business what you work. Even sometimes at work, people just say a word and it drops in your spirit and you are inspired by it. So my inspiration comes from anything and anywhere that is offering inspiration. And I love it because it's free. You understand? Yes. And that is how I operate.
Yes. I love that. Sorry, that is very funny. Claudine and Antoinette, I want to know, what would you tell your 20-year-old self? Now that you're here, you know, what would you tell your younger self? What advice would you give your younger self? Tony?
Don't worry. Everything happens in the right time. Not necessarily your time, but the right time. And sometimes when you're in your 20s, it's the hardest journey. But I guarantee you, if you're on the path that you're supposed to be on, when you reach your 30s, it's like I say, boy, it seems easy. The 20s seem easy because 30s is just a next level. And when you reach that level, you will realize that you never needed to worry, because when whatever is to happen will happen. And when it's your time, it's your time. That's all I have to say.
Is it too late, before I go to Claudine, is it too late for persons who are maybe in their late 30s, their 40s, who have not found what that thing is, you know, that inspires them or motivates them, or that thing that's their purpose? Is it too late?
No, it's never too late. As I said, everybody has purpose. I remember, as just a short story, I remember going to a JCDC festival. It was a church service actually, and they brought on a 10-year-old boy, and I was standing there, and the 10-year-old boy started singing, and immediately I could tell you that was his purpose. And I don't know him, but the fact that he was able to capture the audience's attention, a little 10-year-old boy with his eyes were even closed, and he was so nervous. And when he sang, I was like, wow, that's his purpose. And I'm sure there are people, think about KFC, even though we know people saying thief the lady idea, we know all of that. Think about the man who owned KFC. He was old. So purpose is just, it, as I said, it happens when it's to happen. Timing is not your time. It's always the right time.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. Claudine, what would you tell your 20-year-old self?
Well, if I could have taken out a book and write, one of the first things would be overcome fear with faith.
Yes.
Listen, I am saying that because, well, I've started a lot of businesses. But because fear did not prevent me from starting. What fear did was preventing me from going all the way. Right. And so I will start, for example, I started my nails business. And when it was time to invest some more money, I said, no, Sammy, now do this, come in a think it go on. And then I stopped for a while and I started here. And then I stopped and I started makeup. And listen, if I only had the faith that was required, maybe I would be one of those big salons now.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, don't allow fear to cripple you from starting, or if you are starting, to cripple you from going the extra mile. Because it happened to me so many times.
Yes. Wow.
You know?
Overcome.
And I also wanted to say to myself, listen, believe that God created me fearfully and wonderfully. Everything that I need is packed inside. All the talents, me never born blank. Me born with talents. And all of us are born with talents. And because we're fearful, and because our talent don't look like somebody else's talent, we push our talent under the ground. My talent might be just chatting like I'm talking now. Your talent might be drawing. Just own your talent and work with your talent.
Love it. Love it. Guys, I hope you're getting some really good. I hope you're being inspired. I am being inspired. I just completely enjoy this conversation. My kind of conversation. So I wanted final words, Tony. Any final words for our listeners tonight?
Final words would be stay steadfast, be reliable, live, love, laugh. Don't make people bother you. Don't make negative comments get you down. That's a part of life. It's a balance. We have to have good and we have to have bad. We have to have positive and we have to have negative. So when it happened, I know it's hard, but just try and remember that it's just a part of life and you just have to keep moving on. And I have to add, I love my parents, I love my family, and I love my son, and I love my fiance. So I just had to add that there. And I also have to add thank you to Jamaica overall for the support you have given me during COVID. Twitter has been a buzz. A lot of people have been commenting about the interpreting. I appreciate it. And even thank you to the negative people. I appreciate it because you're still watching. So thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Claudine, any final words?
Yeah, just be thankful in every situation. It may not look glorious, but it doesn't mean that it won't end glorious.
Yes.
Be appreciative to everybody in your circle. And I want to say to my husband, Kenneth Bryan, I thank you for being my biggest cheerleader.
Yes.
And, just ensure that you treat people with mutual respect. Yes. What you want, give it to others. Mm-hmm. Don't give up on yourself. Do not give up on yourself.
Yes.
It may look hard where you are now, but do not give up and seek out and find help if you need help. Don't sit and die alone. Yes. And if you have found help, be the help to somebody else.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Be the help to somebody else.
Love that. Guys, I love it. Beautiful. Thank you so much. This was a great, inspiring conversation on determination to succeed. Loved it. Thank you, ladies, for taking a time to prepare and to just be with us and share your truth with us tonight. It was very inspiring. A big thank you to all our viewers. Thank you for logging on. Thank you for staying engaged. Thank you for just logging on every single week and watching Goal Get Alive. For those people who are new and you're just seeing this one because maybe of the two wonderful ladies that joined us tonight, stick and stay with us. Join us every Tuesday. We're here at 8:30. Missed anything? YouTube channel or Facebook channel. You can view and binge watch all the Goal Getter Lives. Each week we're here, right? And sometimes we have financial experts, and sometimes we talk about lifestyle stuff, just like tonight. But we're here to help you navigate these challenging times. So we'll stick with you because together we can overcome and we are stronger. So stay tuned, stay connected with JMMB. Follow our social media channels for more insightful information as your financial partner with your best interest at heart. We ask that you continue to stay safe and do all that is necessary to protect yourself and your family. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.